No, it says deceit. You gotta expand your vocabulary. All right, so
I can't do that.
everybody starts off with their character card. This is your objective, right? This shows your goal for the game. You complete that, you win, hands down. Now everybody's going to get a temptation. This goes under your character card. This is your weakness. This is what you're vulnerable to. Anytime the temptation that you draw matches your weakness, that temptation is worth double. Don't worry about the points. If it's under here, it's not about the points, it's just about what the temptation is. The other thing we're all going to get is cards, promises. These are our hands. Is that 5?
Yeah. We look at these?
Yeah, this is your hand. So, these are going to be your promises to use. So promises come with an armor type. They come with a point value. That's also the strength of the card. And they come with a promise type. So you see how temptations have a temptation type? Anger, lust. This on the side here shows you what promises automatically beat what temptations, hands down. So if you ever have a promise or a temptation that faces off against the same color promise, the promise always wins. That promise is vulnerable to any temptation that's a higher point, and it doesn't match up. So that's how we think about the strategy, right? We got to think about what temptations am I getting, what promises can I play to counter that. The way we play, we take the dice, we roll it, we then perform the actions on the dice. So these are everything that the dice will have. There's 6 different icons that will come up. They're written in two groups, for the game and for you. We are not competing against each other. This is not a me versus you. This is us versus the game. The game is the tempter. The game is the opponent. The game is evil. So, whenever these dice roll, the actions that are playing are either for us. We choose which ones we want to do of these 3, or they're for the game. The game automatically does whatever it says. So you can roll one good or all bad or all good, like doesn't matter. Whatever you roll, that's what you're playing.
No.
So in this case, if that were my roll right off the bat, and when you're deciding what goes first, it's always majority. So if the majority for you go first. If the majority for the game goes first. That'll affect the way cards are dealt out. So in this case, these are for me. I would get to draw a promise, because that's what the sword does. And then what does the amble do?
Place a card into your armory.
Place a card, right? So I look at my hand and I'm like, okay, what do I got? I don't have anything that will protect me against lust, so I'll go with the next best thing. I'm gonna put the highest card I have. Boom. Those are my 2 actions. I drew a card, I played a card. Now the game. The game wants to do what? With the arrow. Wants to attack me. So this temptation is going to come.
Be a 5.
And it's going to turn over.
It's a 5.
And it attacked me. So the battle took place. Which one do you think wins? Just looking at this.
Here's the honor.
Yep. Honor wins because the points are more. That one I got lucky on. That's not always the case. So that one I got lucky on. Now.
So that goes just to the bottom.
That just returns, it's discarded. So discards go back to the bottom. Now, before the dice are passed, normally you roll and then you pass the dice, and then I get on my phone and I wait for the dice to come back around. This is a little bit different. This one, the person who rolls starts the round, and then before they pass the dice, everybody takes a turn on that round. And what I mean by that is you each play one of these, your choice, whichever one, but you will perform one of these actions, and then the dice are passed. This way everybody stays engaged. So if you play a larger group, it's harder. No one's just sitting around on their phone, or if they are, it's like they're constantly missing opportunities to get something that they want.
So every time it's going to be good for everyone else going, unless it's like 3 attack cards.
Yeah.
Or 3
unless
attack.
it's three dice for the game.
Right, 3 dice for the game.
But even when it is, you still have to do one.
Right.
So if they're all bad, you still have to do one of those bad, and that may be affecting you. Because if I rolled all attacks, I get attacked 3 times, but you guys would also get attacked once. So that's where it's like you're getting to choose from what's there what you're going to do. So out of these, which would you do? You either draw a card or place a card.
I'm going to place a card.
Or get attacked.
Or get attacked, but that's probably less likely.
I'm going to place a card.
All right, place a card.
So placing cards, does that mean it goes in the armory or?
It's in your armory. So, right here, this is your reference for how cards are laid out. So you got your character card and the secret sin behind it, right? Cards on the bottom row, 6 slots, armory. Cards on top row, wall of temptation. So, that is how, when you're playing your card, cards in your armory, positive points. Cards in your wall of temptation, negative points.
So you'd suggest it'd be better in this case, right? You'd rather put stuff in your armory.
Yeah, because what are the odds that you're going to get attacked
And you have nothing.
and you have nothing in your armory? There's nothing to battle. And if you get attacked with nothing in your armory,
It becomes
It's automatically
it automatically adds to your weaknesses. So you build up more weaknesses, which make you more vulnerable to more variety of temptations.
Okay. So, and I was just gonna ask, it's not really part of the game to like hide in your hand or anything.
No, because
you can
it's
talk
like-
to each other and
You could talk, you can offer to trade. That's one of those advanced rules.
Oh, cool.
So it's like, hey, I don't have any love in my life. If somebody's got love, I'm willing to trade diligence or honor or something else. I have to use up one of my dice. I can't use the game's dice. I can't use the skull or the snake or one of those. It would be one of mine. So instead of drawing a promise, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna use this and I'm gonna offer
You're
a
allowed
trade.
So
to do
it still
that.
counts as a move.
For, like, basic
It still counts, yeah, it still counts as one of your actions.
Maybe
If
it's
it's
for
all
something
for the
else.
game, you can't do any of these because you can't play the game's actions. So that's those advanced, slightly more advanced rules.
Cool.
But so let's just say everybody plays a card, right? So you're gonna play a card, you play the card, or you're gonna play a card. Yeah. So you pick a card to go into your armory. Yep, any card.
And I think you would wanna counteract that.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
And then if you don't have that, then you just
Then
play
you
your
go
highest card.
Yep. In his case, he probably got his highest card. Probably is that.
Yeah.
It is my, yeah, it is, and it's also counted.
Yeah. So then, now that everybody's completed their turn in my round, now that I surpassed, and we begin a new round.
Oh.
Boom.
Oh no.
All right.
Uh-oh.
That's
So
majority.
that's majority. Let's simplify it because I don't want to explain that just yet. So let's say it was that.
Alright, that's fine.
That's kind of negative, but it's more complicated.
Sure.
So let's say it happens like that. All right. So what is the game going to do?
It's gonna temptation added to your
Wall of temptation.
wall of temptation,
Yep.
and then community sin activates.
Yep. So in this case, wall of temptation. You don't know what it is. It's not attacking you, so you don't know what it is yet. And then the community sin. Community sin is stuff that gets put off, and you don't know when it's going to do something. So the community sin is dependent on the number of skulls, and this is why I wanted to have something here before we saw multiple skulls.
Sure.
Community sin is based on the number of skulls. 1 skull will add to the community sin. 2 skulls, like you had rolled, will make whatever's on top attack you. And then 3 skulls will make whatever's on top attack everybody, all at the same time. So now it's kind of a chance to see what might attack, and you never know when it's gonna do that.
Okay. And so if this attacked me, it would go up against my 1 card in the armory.
Right. So and so in this case now, you've completed that, and you've got this one,
Yeah.
which
so
lets you
draw a promise card.
Yep. So now you're getting another promise. All right. So now the rest of us have the options here, right? We can choose from these 3 what we want to do.
So he has to do all 3.
He has to do all 3.
All of us have to do that.
Just one.
And playing in your armory, the points compound, is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So the points compound, the battle strength does not.
Okay.
So if I stack a card, I've got 11 points, but the strength of the card in battle is only what's on top. It's also what affects the card I'm resistant to.
Okay.
So even though I've got 6 slots, if I choose to stack them, I can get more points, but I'm also changing what I'm resisting temptation-wise.
Right.
Because then it wouldn't be honor.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the idea behind it, is that you have to strategize. You only have 6 slots, but there's 8 types of temptations you can face. So there's always going to be something that is going to try and bring you down.
Yeah.
So you're really trying to.
Really you want to complete your objective.
Okay, yeah.
Because the only when you complete your objective, and I'll explain right now how the game ends. Completing your objective is the only way to guarantee your win. You're going to be in all negative points, but if you complete the objective, you win. The second way the game ends, when somebody completes their objective, everybody else takes their positive points, compares it to negative points. So how many points do you have right now? 8, 7, 6. But you've got minus points. We don't know what that is.
Right.
And if this game had ended, you turn that over and you subtract this from this. That'd give you your final score. Hopefully you're in the positive.
And if you are, then you win.
If you are, you win. So like,
There's a single winner.
there's the single winner for sure. The guaranteed winner is somebody who completes this. But multiple winners as long as they're in the positive.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to compete,
So it
and
doesn't
say,
matter how high your points are.
yeah, as long as you're in the positive. So and tied end games still go to the game. So you still lose if you get 0. And it's like I didn't get that. Yeah, I'm saving that. The second way the game ends. See how you have 6 slots for temptations. So I've got room to draw 6 temptations. What do you think happens if I draw a 7th one? Exactly. Because if temptation's overrunning my life, it starts to affect those around me.
So how does it dictate like which way it goes?
Just the direction you pass in the dice. So the next player in the order. So if that reaches the max that it can, everybody's full, there is no room to draw any more temptation. Cup of iniquity, right? It's like the limit has been reached. God's like, we're calling it quits there. The final way the game ends. And when that happens, you still have to turn over your cards and compare positive to negative points. Anything in your hand is useless. Those are all, you don't get any points for that. You only get points for what's on the table. The final way the game will end is with these cards called Judgment Day cards. These 4 of them scattered throughout the Temptation deck. You decide how many you want to play to. So if you play to 1, usually a 20 to 30 minute game. If you want to play to all 4, you're looking at a good hour to half hour, or hour and a half. But the thing is that when you find this card, let's say, I'm being attacked, turn it over, boom, Judgment Day, game ends. Now I'm comparing my points, positive and negatives. Do I win or lose? This can happen whenever. A lot of times I'll see, like, they won yesterday and they've been playing it like back to back. I'll see them play it and they're like, all right, let's play the 2 cards. And it's like, it's too soon. And it's like, and then they'll get another one. They're like, okay, let's play the 3 cards. Like, push that limit. Like they don't want to end just yet. But it's a nice way to do it, as like, if you just want to play a quick game and not be stuck playing an hour or be committed to a whole hour to play. So
if you draw, you can kind of disregard it to continue.
yeah. So if you want to do that, or if you just want to have a limit and say it's like, well, we only have time to play the 1 card, you know that the game will end like pretty soon.
Yeah, right.
So that way it keeps you going. But let's finish out this turn here, right? So you did yours?
I did mine, yep.
So I have to pick one of those.
So you guys
pick
are going
one
to
of these?
choose this one.
Yeah, obviously.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'll draw one.
So we're gonna draw one. Draw one. I'll draw one. All right. So that's more cards in our hands. Now the dice are passed.
Oh, just a quick question. So if we had played out the 2 skulls like I had originally rolled, would nothing have happened since
Nothing
there was
would
no
have happened
card
since
there?
there was nothing there, which
Okay.
is why I wanted to have something there so I
you
could
could
explain that
Yeah.
process. All right. So, arrow, skull, 1. Which ones go first?
The game.
The games. Yep. And so in this case, we're starting off. The game always goes from whatever's on top going down. So the arrow is going to attack you first. You have no temptations in front of you, so you're getting attacked from the deck. Boom. In this case, you win. Exactly. So 5 points to your 8. You beat it, even though it's not a counter to it.
Right.
So that one was used. Now Community Sin activates. 1 added there.
So, okay.
Yeah. These under here, these are for if you want to make it a more advanced game. This is going to cause the card when it attacks to do additional things. So that adds some variety to it. You can play simple and just ignore that, and then when you want more of a challenge, you start including what the cards do as their effects. Side effects is what I call them. So that one is the second one. Now you get this. You could draw, or you could do one of your advanced actions back here. So the additional actions, you can choose to recite. So recitation is you take the card, look at it, or hopefully you've been looking at it when it wasn't your turn, hand it off and try and recite it from memory. If you recite the card successfully from memory, that card becomes a gem, and gems are worth twice as much. So now the card doubles. So the bigger the verse, the more points, but the harder it's going to be. All of these are in King James because it's the only version of the Bible that's not copyrighted. so you can print it without being sued.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't either. I had it in American English, and then I started looking up copyright laws, and I was like, I cannot make that.
Is that why it took 5 years? You printed it in the wrong
Part
way?
of this, I printed this game so many. The funny thing is, I was making it by hand, and it was costing me like $60 each to make.
Yeah.
And then I started doing prototypes, and they were costing me almost the same. And I was like, man, I've been like cutting cards by hand, and the prototyping company's giving me better quality cards for the same thing.
Yeah.
These, the final edition, these are costing me about $90 a piece to prototype. So that's one of those additional actions. The other actions would be to counter. So if I had a temptation in front of me, and I was like, I'm gonna use my card to counter. I'm gonna attack one of these. They're face down. I don't know what it is. Turning it over would keep it. So in this case, I would have won. If I didn't win, this one's gone, this stays, and it stays face up. So now I know it's there. Sometimes that's a good strategy if you have like really weak promises and you're like, well, I don't really need this for anything. I'm just going to use it so that it reveals the temptations in front of me.
So like vision.
Yeah, kind of, but you're burning cards to do it.
Yeah.
The other way, trades, that's where you're like, hey, I need some help here. You know, what do you got? I'm willing to trade you this. Your objective may be to get a full set of armor, and you're like, I'm missing swords. So it's like you're gonna be like, I'll trade you anything for a sword. And then the last one is grace. Grace cards, like I explained a little earlier, grace cards are power-up cards. So if you want to activate a power-up card, you got to spend one of your actions in order to do it. You can only draw these with the crown, or by trading 4 promises for one of these. But if I want to activate it, I gotta spend my action to play the card.
Yeah.
Or I gotta place it down when I have an anvil. So, because some of them have passive abilities, like this one, Memory Bank, lets me retry every failed memorization or every failed attempt. I get a second try. So it'd be like, oh yeah, you almost got it, you're 1 word off. Okay, as long as I have this in my armory, I can do that and just keep retrying so I can build up Bible verses faster that way. So that's additional actions and how they work. You're thinking about what you want to do with what's available. Otherwise, you're just playing with the top here and going off of that. So there, it's like you'd have additional action, or you would just draw prompts.
When can I start adding?
You gotta
drop an anvil.
It has to be anvils, yeah.
And I'll draw.
Draw, and then I'll draw. All right. Now go ahead and roll. Hopefully some anvils.
I think I'm gonna.
Or skulls.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
All right.
Oh, you
Pressing. That's really.
We need some intercessory prayer here in a minute. All right.
Okay, you're bringing this all down.
I know.
So those double skulls, right? Well, first let's do this. Start with, because it goes in the order, right? So first the snake. You got 1 temptation added. Boom. Don't know what it is, but it's there. Next, the skulls. What does double skulls do?
This attacks us, or attacks Kai.
Attacks him. Yep. So this is attacking you. You lost. That card is gone. That's now part of your week, or part of your wall of temptation. You got 2 cards in your wall of temptation now. So now the rest of us still have to do one. What do we want? So we're doing one of these. If we pick the skulls, it's like we're picking 1 skull instead of 2.
So we add it to there.
We're adding a community sin.
I'm gonna add that to
You do community?
Yeah. Oh, I guess it would be yours.
That would be my turn. I would have done community. So you're gonna do
So I'm gonna
community.
Oh, is
So then that would signal game.
That would signal the game
Unless we
ended.
were playing to 2.
Unless then it's like, okay, let's play to 2, or it's like let's play to 3,
Yeah.
or let's play a full game. Let's play all 4. So if the game ended there, let's say, okay, we're out of time. We're gonna do that. Where are we at point wise?
So these would flip over, right?
These flip over, right?
So he automatically loses because he's got no armory, right?
He's got no points,
Yeah.
and he's at a negative 15. We got 8
And I
and
would have to flip this over 5.
5. So positive. You ended up with a positive 3.
Yeah.
So win. So that's essentially how the game ends.
Can we keep going?
Yeah, let's
Just to...